asking for forgiveness, but every single day I felt guilty. Every single day. I don't know what to say to the people I borrowed from. Every single day I was guilty. Guilty in asking. My bank account got locked. Temporarily locked. I was wondering if I asked if I could borrow money and I'd pay you back.
Because she was blackout drunk. And her friend told her, "You were there?" "No, I was there for the drama when it happened in the OTK house."
And she did not reply. She doesn't have screenshots.
No, I did not.
A lot of people in Austin don't like me because somebody talks about me a lot to people, and they just go off that opinion on me, so a lot of people don't like me.
Hello everyone, and today we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be going over the Sliker situation as well as the Adriana Lee situation. And just a warning, the second topic is going to be quite serious. It's going to be going over SA allegations as well as potential cover-ups of that SA allegation. And this situation has been referred to as Poggergate, so if you do see that, it is referring to this situation as a whole. But first up, I'm going to start with Sliker. Sliker was the Twitch streamer who ended up scamming around $300,000 from fans and streamers alike.
I interviewed multiple victims and created a master list of the people who Sliker scammed because I needed to get like a bird's eye view of this thing. There are over 55 people on this list owed money right now, and the total scammed is over $384,000. And what did I learn from these 55 people? Well, there were a lot of different ways Sliker liked to approach people.
Sliker would use similar tactics with each person to get money out of them. One being, he would say his card was locked or froze while abroad. Then he would go into how embarrassed he was about this and just to keep it between them because of his shame to have to ask for help.
Hey, I just recently got into some thing with my bank. Basically, my bank account got locked. This has happened for like 3-4 days. Yo, Mo, I'm not hacked, my bro. I'm not.
So yeah, it turns out he wasn't ashamed at all. In fact, if you didn't believe him, he would even say other things like, you know, on my mama when they didn't believe him, or he would swear on his religion that he wasn't lying while lying.
Listen to me, Nepali. I swear I'm a Muslim. I swear on the Quran, I ain't lying. I won't scam you. Nepali, on my mum's life, on my mum's life, I'm not lying. Please, on my mum's life. I understand. I'm not lying. I am not lying. I'm confident you think I'm joking, bro. On my mum's life, I'm not, bro. On my mum's life, I'm not.
And then everyone comes to find out Sliker actually had a gambling addiction to sports betting and horse racing. And like I said in my last video, I do have empathy for people with addictions, but we still have to be responsible adults. It's quite obvious to me and many other people that he knew exactly what he was doing. He was manipulating people emotionally and completely taking advantage of people's kindness, his fans, and his acquaintances on Twitch. There was even one person whose brother was going through chemotherapy and he was going through a hard time. Sliker kept asking for money.
I genuinely mean that I do apologize for everyone that I borrowed off. I'm not asking for forgiveness, but every single day I felt guilty. Every single day. Taking off these innocents, viewers from streamers, viewers that don't even work, man. Viewers that don't even work. Viewers that would need it because they're going to school and I'm being stupid.
Stop it. Get some help.
And from what I heard, Ludwig and XQC are paying everybody back. And this is a good step in the right direction. And there was a whole lot more I wanted to cover and go into the specifics of what he said to each person, but things got a little bit out of hand after this. There was a exchange on Twitter that sparked a whole other controversy. Asmongold was upset about the Sliker situation, where he said, "How in the F is Sliker not banned on Twitch? Guy literally uses the platform to defraud dozens of people, streamers and viewers alike, and admits it. Gideon is still sitting on a perma while Sliker gets to go live and laugh about an actual crime. It's an absolute disgrace at Twitch." After this, Trainwreck chimes in, who's actually one of the people Sliker did scam. He said, because your pals decided it was in their best interest to use and platform the very person that scammed everyone for his horse racing and tennis bets, to somehow twist it and wager their war against me. And we both know deep down why the insecure little man is doing this. And then Miss Kiff's response to Trainwreck is, if we're going to deplatform people for scamming others, shouldn't we have banned you for Joltcoin a few years back? As for Joltcoin, I did find a thread about this on Reddit, but the YouTube video attached to it is unavailable, so I can't really look that much into it. But after this, Trainwreck does respond again, are you going to send Maya and Mitch to the railroad and blackmail me like you did those girls to cover up those essays? You scumbag. You want to come at me and make up? Then you better be sure you don't live in a glass house, you insecure. And so after this raised a ton of questions as to what Trainwreck was referring to or who Trainwreck was referring to. And Trainwreck was actually referring to Adriana Lee, which this was already talked about before, but it did not get much media coverage because it had to be downplayed for Crazy Slick, which Crazy Slick and Sliker are two different people, just so we're clear. And just for context's sake, Trainwreck and Miss Kiff are both streamers, as well as Asmongold. And Miss Kiff and Asmongold are part of a streamer group called OTK. And we'll find out later that Trainwreck did have some sort of permission, or he already had been in talks with Adriana about bringing this to light again. Going back to 2021, the streamer known as Novaru did a live stream where she did talk about Adriana. She did not specify her name at the time, but her bringing this up, this SA allegation, made Adriana have to come out and tell her story. And this was a year after it happened.
She passed out in one of the Airbnb beds. He went into the room and he started, I heard this from 3 people, by the way. He started like touching her and was like, I don't know exactly what his intentions were, but I just know that he was touching her, and everyone was like, dude, stop. Like, she's trying to relax. She's drunk. Like, it's weird. Like, don't touch somebody when she's drunk.
And there's been some debate on whether Novaru should have come out with this before talking with Adriana to see if that was okay. I do believe she deserves some criticism for this, but this shouldn't be the main focus. Now moving on, Adriana made a twit longer. The main part of it I want to focus on is this part right here. The night apparently was passed out in one of the rooms at the party. He came into the room while I was unconscious. He came into the room a couple times after being asked to leave me alone each time. In 2 of those instances, he touched my neck and chest, saying he was just making sure I was alive. After being assured by my friends that I was okay, as they were watching over me, whether or not his intentions were out of genuine concern or not, I don't know. To be clear, he did not R-word me or assault me, but his actions did make me uncomfortable. And I do want you to take note of the wording there. Adriana Lee in 2020 went to a party with people she thought she could trust. She ended up drinking a lot and blacking out in one of the rooms. That is when Crazy Slick came into the room multiple times to check her pulse and make sure she was alive, even though her friends were watching over her and saying that she's fine and to leave her alone. And 1 or more times he touched her chest, which is, without her consent, sexual assault. She is unconscious and unable to give consent for any sort of touch like that. And it's disgusting. People try to victim blame. She was not awake. She was unconscious. And we shouldn't be victim blaming in the first place. It doesn't matter how much you drank, it doesn't matter what you wear, it doesn't matter what circumstances you put yourself in, it is not your fault. Now I'll play the clip of Adriana talking about this situation herself.
Like before I moved here, I used to visit a lot because I was friends with all these people. And now it's like I'm just like a social outcast.
So he tried to do all that while you were like drunk, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I was drunk and then I passed out because I drank too much. But I was like, it was like in an Airbnb, so I was just in a room. And then he kept like trying to come in, like feel my chest and like touch my boob. And my friend was like, yo, stop. I was like, I'm just checking your pulse. He's like, dude, stop. You're not checking your pulse. Like, you're
half checking her pulse, grabbing her.
Yeah.
What the?
And then he would go away and he would come back and try to do it again. So my friends literally had to guard me. And the craziest part is, it's not just like, oh, accusation. He admitted this. He admitted to doing this. Like, he put out his tweet longer after mine saying, oh, I'm so sorry, Adriana. I was drunk, whatever. He did it. He admitted to doing it. It's not even just like, oh, that's a weird accusation that you did.
I didn't even hear about this, to be honest, at all.
So pushed under the rug.
It did.
It, like, ruined my life. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I hear Mitch, Barry, and Maya come in. I'm like, oh, hell no.
Maya who? What the?
I don't want to deal with them. I just want to write this tweet longer and move on with my life. Every time I hang out with a streamer, a bigger streamer on a website, on a platform, whatever, and they know the Ms. Kiff circle jerk, he will go and message them, whatever big streamer I'm with, a long paragraph on how he doesn't want them to be around me. Because it triggered him because he almost got kicked out.
And apparently Slick has already apologized for making Adriana uncomfortable. I'm incredibly sorry for making Adriana feel uncomfortable at a party a year ago, and very sorry to her friends that night for having to put up with me. I was drunk and anxious, and my intentions were to check her pulse, because I was worried. I realized that was overstepping and I should have let her friends take care of her. There's no excuse for my behavior, and I hope that she can forgive my actions. I am also deeply sorry to anyone else I've made uncomfortable. It be on stream, at a party, or anywhere else. It's never been my intention to make people feel scared or uncomfortable. I feel awful that I caused this.
A lot of people in Austin don't like me because somebody talks about me a lot to people, and they just go off that opinion on me, so a lot of people don't like me.
Now he seems to want to play the victim and say, well, people are just making up rumors about him, spreading lies about him, talking crap about him. But he's acknowledged that what he did was wrong because it made her uncomfortable. And not to mention, Miss Kiff and Maya also said what he did was wrong because it made her uncomfortable. And to stop any confusion, Miss Kiff and Maya were part of OTK and Crazy Slick was one of their friends. So of course, they're going to downplay the situation to where he does not get in trouble or in as much trouble for his terrible actions.
And Slick was just sitting there having panic attacks the entire time, freaking out, not knowing what's going to happen with his life. What Slick did was inexcusable. Like, I know he didn't do anything that was extreme, which was what a lot of us perceived, but what he did was inexcusable.
Yes, it all started with Nova saying that yesterday. I want to start by saying that she wasn't even there, and it's, everybody knows, right? It's super to bring up somebody else's experience like that without their permission. She didn't say her name, but we're very grateful to Adriana for doing the tweet that she did because she was forced into that position and she talked about her past experiences, which is super brave and really, really hard to do.
She was also forced into that in like 6 hours.
Right.
Like, she didn't even know what was happening and she was forced into tweeting the situation in 6 hours.
And so in her doing that, I'm so everybody is so sorry to her that she had to go through that because it's so unfair.
Crazy Slick was having panic attacks about what's going to happen to his life, but he made those decisions. He chose to touch Adriana when she was unconscious, and he's done a lot of things that made people uncomfortable in the past, in Twitch logs, the Twitch chat logs, as well as Discord messages. He's said a lot of things that were really creepy. So for him to make it a pity party about him is honestly disgusting. And I will go a little bit more in depth about that in a little bit.
I will pretty much say it. He harassed that girl. He has a lot to work on, and he knows that. And I do think, and here's the thing, this did happen a year and a half ago. I think Slick has gotten a lot better. Of what you can deem of it, it's harassment, whatever. At a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit and really cared. I'm gonna turn this off if you're gonna be like this. When people like think of it, they think that he stuck his inside her without her consent, and I'm like, that's what people perceive it as.
What the? I just hate the narrative of he didn't rape her, so it's okay. He didn't rape her, so it's okay. He only touched her inappropriately.
Miskiff is absolutely downplaying the situation. It's still bad. Just because he didn't full on R-word her doesn't mean it didn't affect her. It's obviously affected her life in more ways than one, because apparently Slick has been talking to people as well, and I'll also get into that later. Now, the Twitlonger. Adriana Lee, she made that Twitlonger I showed earlier, and apparently, as she said earlier in this video, Mitch, Maya, and Barry came over while she was trying to write it. And basically, from what we understand, their plan was to have her downplay it so Slick would not get kicked out of the house, because he lived in Miss Kiv's house at the time. There are some leaked Discord calls and some confirmation from Mitch that said this was something that happened.
To be clear, he did not me, but his actions did make me uncomfortable. She wrote out the whole Twitlonger, she showed me it, and I said thank you for including that, because I didn't want added speculation to what was happening with Slick. I didn't think of it as a or honestly, I didn't think of it as a at the time. Right, talking to us being me, Mitch, and I said, I'm sorry for what happened with Slick. I know what it's like to be a to deal with those feelings in the public eye is a lot. I was there with her while she was writing it, but it was, I'm not like holding this girl's head.
Maya was like, I just don't think you should say anything at all. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, no, or I should say, it wasn't that big of a deal and I'm over it now. And I was like, listen, I'm gonna be true to myself. I'll make Slick look good, like an angel, because I did, even though I was upset with it. I just, I came to a even point with Maya, because Maya was like, we don't want to kick him out.
Did Miz explicitly give direction to you and Maya and whoever the else was in that room to go to Adriana's house and to quote-unquote downplay the situation or find a way to save Slick's ass? Yes or no?
The answer to that is yes.
Alright, and to recap again, this is Miss Kiff, this is Maya, and this is Mitch. And let's not forget, this is Crazy Slick. Miss Kiff was the owner of the house, and he did not want to kick out Crazy Slick. And at the time, Miss Kiff and Maya were dating, and were still a part of the same content house. Now let's talk about the leaked Discord call.
I want you to listen to the scenario. I woke up. I remember the whole day. This was one of the scariest days of my lives. My best friend in the whole world, Slick, is getting accused of, people are saying he's about to get canceled. I run in his room. Maya's crying. I'm freaking the out. I'm hyperventilating. Mitch is there. We're all trying to figure out what the we can do for my best friend, right? I care about Slick. I do. I love the guy. And people were telling us, mainly Barry, that, yo, Adriana Lee's about to come out with some, because Novaru the night before said, right? Novaru was like,
yeah.
Right. She went out and tried to say some stupid ass and accusations about Slick.
So right off the bat, they're completely on Slick's side. People are crying and hyperventilating because Adriana's gonna come out with her story. And this is a really long call where he kind of goes in circles saying it's his best friend, he needed to protect him basically. And people question him, did Slick talk to people to make people stay away from Adriana? Because that was one of the complaints, was after this, she was blacklisted from their community, and it seems to be true.
When Adriana hung out with like other streamers of adequate size, right? Maybe not to our size, but adequate size, right? Did Slick get triggered and talk to you and have you or Maya or himself message the streamer not to hang out with Adriana?
Bro, no.
Oh, no.
Are you sure? Because
Slick does not talk to me about that kind of stuff.
That's a different answer than you just
are
gave.
You sure? Apparently there was proof of DMs.
Who is there right now? Adriana. That is the person who tried to cancel me, so I was wondering why you guys were hanging with her, but don't bring it up with her. I don't know, I had a panic attack because it stressed me out seeing you guys with her. So this is Slick DMing somebody.
See, so that's incredibly damning that Slick did blacklist Adriana from these groups because he would message them and say, oh, I'm uncomfortable because you're hanging out with her. It gives me anxiety. He's the victim, of course. And then a little bit after this, Miskiff drops some kind of a bombshell or things he thinks is a bombshell.
We went to 6th Street and she was groping Seer, and it was very weird. So we stopped hanging out with her, and then that was it.
Adria wanted to include this. Apparently her and Sierra already spoke about this. hey, I was just informed, and what I did, how I acted on Saturday, I just want to apologize if I made you uncomfortable anyway. That was never intentional. All the best. It's all good. So apparently they've spoken about this.
Now, this is something that wasn't really brought up. She's apologized for it, and obviously she's in the wrong in that. But why is Miss Kiff bringing this up right now when she's talking about her own personal essay story with Slick? People were absolutely going after Novaru for exposing this story without her consent. Well, Miss Kiff is doing this to Seer right now. He completely went after Novaru. He seems to be weaponizing this essay, which people were saying about Adriana, where Trainwreck brought it up, perhaps. But in this case, I think he's definitely weaponizing this, especially because Seer probably didn't even want to talk about this. And I don't trust Miss Kiff's word on anything, so if this was really something that happened, I think Seer should come out and talk about it if he feels comfortable, or Adriana. And that's why I usually don't bring up essay and accusations like this if the victim doesn't even want to come out and talk about it. They're going to be forced to do something they don't want to do in the first place. Now I'm going to do like a bit of a compilation of all the times Crazy Slick has been caught being creepy or weird.
There were a lot of times that he would talk to me and say that his greatest fear was being canceled. I just feel completely lied to and like the person that I knew never existed after seeing those screenshots. Especially considering that I myself am obviously a girl and would talk to him about things that have happened to me, and he would let me say stuff like that to him. Meanwhile, be sending things like that to other girls. I just don't know if I've ever felt so betrayed in my life or by a friend. Yeah, as I saw more and more screenshots come out, it just felt like the person that I thought that I lived with never existed. It's bad enough that he did that to Adriana and that those logs existed in the first place, but what makes it so much worse to me is that he got what, in my opinion, was an undeserved second chance. And he just continued acting the same way.
As you can see, the sheer number is alarming. There was a ton of evidence of sexual harassment that Adriana Lee put into a thread. You can find it on Twitter or pause the screen because I just wanted to flip through it really quick and show you how much there actually was. And he still acts like he's a victim, at least before he shut everything down. There was some tweets that made people pretty upset that I want to share. And these tweets were made the same day as Adriana's live stream, telling my story. I have never SA'd anyone and never will. I have never had any intentions of harming anyone. I go out of my way to check on someone and get accused of R-word. This is unfair. I will be getting a lawyer ASAP. Learn from the Johnny Depp situation and think first. Then he goes on to say, I never checked her pulse on her chest. I checked her neck and wrist only. Then he says again, when I refer to Johnny Depp, it means to look at both sides and don't think guilty before proven innocent. I don't really like the narrative he's pushing here. He was not accused of R-word, and he shouldn't be bringing up Johnny Depp when he is the one who actually has SA'd somebody. And no, these tweets made Asmongold pretty upset, and he said some things that I don't entirely agree with, but I understand he was very angry.
And you have the f***ing audacity to go in and use his example to cover up for your slimy I don't give a whether you touched her on the chest or not. You're a creepy piece of that uses your friends to go and act as a gatekeeper to keep people out so you can allow yourself to be I hate you. I hope you
And I do agree with most of what he said there. It's just at the very end he went a little bit too hard. I don't think Slick deserves to have a media presence. He needs just to get a regular job and have people know who he is because he's a potential danger. And going back to Miss Kiff and Maya, I don't believe they are innocent either. Miss Kiff is definitely the more suspicious one since it was his best friend. Well, he just came back October 10th with a live stream and he did some sketchy things on there.
It was been these 3 weeks of my life easily the 3 weeks of my life. I barely sleep. I'm letting you know, I don't sleep. No, I don't sleep. I'm on 3 hours of sleep, maybe. I have night terrors all night. That's all I have. I have night terrors.
Yeah, we make it. No matter what, dude. One of my things is I am a master at cover-ups and reconstruction.
Me too, for 4 years.
Me too, for 4 years. Excuse me?
I think this will not look good like this.
So, what was that? That was a joke about cover-ups. He's getting a tattoo. But 4 years? We only know about 2 years. The tweet initially from Train made you beg the question, because he used a plural term. So now more than ever it makes me wonder how many cover-ups do they do for Slick? Because there was already tons of evidence of harassment. But just to briefly recap this whole saga, it started off with Sliker scamming hundreds of thousands of dollars from fans and fellow streamers. Then it went on to Trainwreck making a tweet. Then coming out, there was cover-ups, essay allegations, and there's probably going to be more people coming forward in the future from how he said 4 years and how Trainwreck used the plural term essays. Twitch streamers cannot be trusted. Just like anyone else, do not put your trust into them. Just like YouTubers, they can do horrible things just like regular people. The only difference is they can abuse their power. And at the beginning of this video, I used a clip of Justaminx. She also said something kind of interesting, that her and OTK did cover-ups.
Not everyone's a head like fucking streamers that cover it up, aka me and OTK. Ooh, shouldn't have said that one. Should not have said that one.
And Minx already said that she was there that night at OTK during the cover-up conversation. And something I forgot to mention earlier is OTK is actually investigating all of this right now. So Ms. Kiff is not part of OTK at this moment. And I hope they actually are investigating. To be honest, OTK might need to be investigated within itself from an outside party. And from the use of plural essays and Ms. Kiff saying for 4 years, you have to think this thing goes deeper. And if it does, I'll be there to cover it. But that is the end of this video. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!
Please do not view this as disrespect, but I was wondering if I could ask if I could borrow gold my bank installment.
Oh my god, oh wow.
I could just use 300 gold to get my flying mount.
Okay.